Hey, this is Life with Shauna Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This video is about my fiance cheated on me with Mistress. I wonder who the mistress is. Let's find out.
Okay, so this is the story time of how I found out I was getting cheated on by my fiance 2 days before our engagement party and 5 days before a moving truck showed up to move us across states. So this is just about when I found out. Obviously, there's like a whole story to it and it's wild, but for the sake of time. So it was a Friday and I had just left my staff Christmas party and I was driving to his house to do Christmas with his family because we were moving from Texas to California in like a week or two, and the moving truck was about to show up and all this stuff right before Christmas. So we were going to do Christmas with his family because they're in Texas, and then do actual Christmas, like Christmas Day and stuff, with my family in California. So I show up right away, something's off. He was supposed to be packing all day. I get there, he's acting weird, nothing's packed. I'm like, what the heck is going on? He lives with his grandma and they live on like 5 acres, and his mom and dad and brother live on the same land but in a different house. So he goes next door to his parents' house. I don't know why, he just goes next door. I'm at his grandma's house. He calls me and he's like, come over here, like I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, something super weird's going on. So I go over there right away. I'm like, what the F's going on? You're acting so weird. And he's like, I cheated on you. Right away, I don't know how to process this. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, when would you have even done this? Like, we're always together. What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense. Why are you telling me this now? Like, brain goes into overdrive. I go crazy. I'm super mad. But because I was so overwhelmed, like I could really only fixate on like one thing, and I just kept asking him like, why now? Like, why are you telling me this right now? Like, we just got engaged 2 weeks ago and we're about to have our party, we're about to move, like this is crazy timing, what is going on? And I'm like, when did this happen? Who did this happen with? Like, tell me everything. So he tells me it was just some random girl, and that it happened like a week or two into us dating, and it didn't mean anything, and he didn't, he was scared of how much he liked me. He didn't know like what our relationship was going to be, all this stuff, right? I'm like, okay, crazy. I give him the ring back. I'm like, you have been keeping this secret from me our entire relationship. You've been lying to me like crazy. And I tell him like, you're not moving with me and my family. Like, that's not happening. And I'm like, I don't know if we're still together, if we're gonna be together. I don't know about anything else, but those two things are not happening, at least not right now. Like, I need to process this, and these things are coming up and I can't deal with them. Cancel the party, cancel the engagement, like you're not moving with me, and then we'll figure out the rest. So I'm so pissed, but he's like, I love you so much. I want to be together. We're going to make it work, all this stuff. And I'm like, no, like you lied to me our entire time. And like, that was such a huge thing for me. Backstory, he worked at a bar, and for the beginning of our relationship, I had really bad trust issues about that, because I was like, you're out at a bar every night with all these like beautiful women, and it just made me insecure. I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't want to date someone who's out in that scene every single night. Like, it drove me a little crazy. But by the time we got engaged, like I had already worked past all that. I trusted him completely, but come to find out, okay, we'll get there. Okay, anyways, I had a lot of trust issues. We had talked about cheating. I had talked about like I was a one and done kind of thing. Like, if you did that, I'm out of here. It's not a work through it kind of thing. And he knew it was like a big thing for me, like trust and honesty and all that stuff. So yeah, he's like, it just happened that one time. I'm like, I don't care. Like, this isn't happening. Like, I'm not doing this with you. So I'm pissed. I leave. I get home and I talk to my brother-in-law. So the girl he was cheating on me with told my brother-in-law, because she worked at the same coffee shop. So my brother-in-law managed a coffee shop, and the girl and my ex both worked there. Granted, by the time we got engaged and found all this out, he didn't work there anymore, but that's how they all knew each other. So my brother-in-law was this girl's boss. So she came forward to him right after she saw we got engaged and said, I've been seeing him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to tell her, kind of thing. So my brother-in-law calls my ex and is like, you need to, like, is this true? First of all, he tries to deny it. He's like, dude, why would she say this unless it's true? So my ex fesses up. He's like, yeah, it's true. So my brother-in-law is like, you have to tell her. Like, you have to tell her, like, right now. And this is Friday. This is before I guess, like, hours before I get there, hence why he didn't get anything done during the day. And so my ex is like, you know, like, I'm planning to tell her, I'm going to tell her, but I want to wait until after we move because I just want to, like, go to therapy with her and I want us to, like, work it out and all stuff. My brother's like, tough, dude, you have to tell her. Like, either you tell her today or I'm going to have her sister tell her, his wife, my sister, who I lived with. It's like, I'm going to have you tell her, you know, and like, you need to tell her or she's going to tell her. Like, she's going to find out today. Like, you're not keeping this, you know, held in or whatever. So that's why he ended up telling me. So I get home and I start asking my brother-in-law all these questions about the girl, like, going forward to him. And he tells me that she said to him that she had been seeing him since January. Not in January, since January. And I'm like, that to me means, like, continuously seeing each other, you know what I mean? And he was so adamant that that wasn't the case. So I talked to my brother-in-law for a while. Eventually I call my ex and I'm like, you need to come over because I've settled down a little and we need to actually, like, talk about this, because I was so mad before I didn't really get real answers and I couldn't even remember what he had said. So I was like, come over, we need to talk about this. So he comes over. I'm asking him all these questions. He swears up and down that whatever she said is wrong and he's telling the truth. It was like 2 weeks into us dating. It was one time. He regretted it. He never talked to her again, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, look, this is like your last shot, buddy. Like, tell me the truth, because if you're lying again, there's no coming back from that. And he's like, why would I lie? Like, I swear up and down. And I'm like, okay, well, look, like, not that it's okay, but, like, I can understand where, like, what he was saying, where he was like, I didn't want to tell you because then we got serious and, like, all this stuff, right? So I was like, okay, like, we're not together right now, but maybe in the future, like, we can work through this. I don't know what that's going to look like, but, like, I mean, I'm still very much in love with him, you know, like, we just got engaged. We were planning our lives together. I was in my mind trying to justify a way to make it work. I was like, we're broken up right now, but we'll see what happens. Like, you need to go to therapy because the fact that you were able to lie to me about this for so long is crazy, like, all this stuff, right? So he's like, you know, I want to fight for this. I want to make this work, all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, we'll see what happens, but I'm moving and we're broken up. We're not engaged, everything. So he leaves. The next morning, my sister goes to pick up my mom from the airport because she was going to fly in. This is Sunday. This was supposed to be our engagement party. She was going to fly in and surprise me for our party. So I'm at home with my brother-in-law. My sister and my mom are in the car on the way back from the airport. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to message this girl. I need to hear her side of it. Something is not quite adding up about what he's saying. And I need to be sure, you know what I mean? So I DM her on Instagram and I'm like, look, there's no hard feelings. This is not your fault, but I just need to know, like, from your perspective, like, what happened. That's when she proceeds to tell me that they were seeing each other for 11 months. And I find out that the last time they saw each other was a week before me and him went and looked at rings. And the reason that she came forward is because the night before she came forward, so Thursday night, which we had just gotten back from my nephew's Christmas recital, he texted her and said, I'm moving to California in 2 weeks and I want to see you before I leave. So he was planning to see her again. She tells me, like, I was in love with him and he basically just treated me like, you know, nothing. Like, he would just see me every once in a while, all this stuff, crazy, right? I message him. I'm like, you're a piece of garbage. You suck so bad, like, all this stuff. I go to send him this really long message and he at first is denying it again. He's like, this isn't true. And then I sent him the screenshot she sent me where he's like dirty texting her and asking her to come over and texting her while he was on vacation with me and my family, like, all this stuff, right? And she has all this proof and I sent it to him and then he's finally, after denying it, he's finally like, okay, yeah, I cheated. I suck. Sorry. So he fesses up. I go to send him this really long message like an hour later and it fails to deliver.
Honestly, once a man shows you who they are, believe it. You said the deal breaker is that if he cheats on you, that you're moving on. Like, because that honesty is right out the window. But he was so quick to say, oh, it only happened one time. I love you. Want to be back with you. We could do therapy. Now, mind you, you do therapy and you change if he does change, because I think that was just a cop out. So I just really feel like he really didn't want to change. I think he just saying all that so that he could have his cake and eat it too. He could be with you and then he could be with her. And I just feel like that's just so disrespectful to you, because you are a pretty girl. You deserve to be with someone that loves you and cares about you, is not going to cheat on you. That's not going to propose to you. And then 2 minutes later cheats on you and says, oh, I want to come clean now before we move, but want to see her before you leave. Makes no sense to me at all, because he was playing some type of game and you was not playing. That's why women have these like inner instincts. Like, we gotta like think, hey, if something ain't right, you gotta just trust your gut and go with what you know. Okay. And I'm happy that you were able to call her and ask her like really what's going on, because he doesn't, it's not right for you to be saying, oh yeah, only one time it happened. And honestly, after that 11 months you were seeing that lady, that girl, and I have no nerve to tell her what was going on. But you know what? There's a part two. Don't worry, guys. I got a part two coming, and definitely will be finishing this story time. But this is Life with Shauna Renee, and more videos are on the way.